All right, today we're diving into one of the most fascinating things you'll ever see in the houseplant world. We're talking about what happens when your orchid decides to create a perfect, tiny clone of itself. This is the story of the Orchid Keiki. So picture this. You're looking at your orchid and you spot something new, a strange little growth on the flower stem that definitely wasn't there yesterday. Is it another flower spike? Maybe a weird root? Or did your orchid just have a baby? Let's figure it out.
Okay, first things first. Let's get right into what we're actually looking at here.
This new growth has a name. It's a keiki. It's pronounced keiki, and it's the Hawaiian word for the little one. And honestly, that's the perfect description. A keiki is a botanical clone. It's a genetically identical copy of its parent plant, a miniature orchid carrying all the same DNA.
Now you're probably wondering, why does this even happen? Well, think of it as the plant's ultimate backup plan. Sometimes it's a last-ditch survival effort. If the parent plant is stressed or dying, it'll push out a clone to carry on its genes. It can also happen if a terminal spike grows right out of the center, blocking new leaf growth. Or, it could just be a natural hormonal thing after blooming. You can even force the issue yourself with a special hormone paste.
So here's the crucial part for any orchid grower, figuring out what you're actually looking at. A new flower spike is exciting, a new root is a great sign of health, but a keiki, well, that's a whole new plant. So let's decode that new growth.
The easiest way to tell the difference, especially early on, is to look right at the very tip. A flower spike looks, well, kind of like a little green mitten. It's flattened and has an uneven shape. An aerial root, on the other hand, is going to be smooth, perfectly rounded, and cylindrical. It's a dead giveaway.
Okay, this chart breaks down all three possibilities. You can see the keiki starts with these little leaf-like nubs, the flower spike has that classic mitten shape and a matte texture, and the root has that glossy tip and silvery body. Where it's growing is also a huge clue. Keikis almost always pop out from one of the nodes along an old flower spike. So you've done it, you've confirmed it's a keiki. That's awesome, congratulations. But, and this is a big but, don't reach for the scissors just yet. The single most important part of this whole process is timing. So let's talk about how you know when your keiki is ready to leave the nest.
When it comes to keiki care, there is one magic number. One number that tells you everything you need to know. Any guesses? Yep, it's the number 3. This is the gold standard that tells you your new little plant is biologically ready to survive all on its own.
And here it is, the rule of 3. It's simple. You need to wait until your keiki has at least 3 leaves, at least 3 healthy roots, and those roots are at least 3 inches long. Now, this isn't just some random rule of thumb. It's biological. This is the point where the plantlet has enough leaf surface for photosynthesis and a big enough root system to actually absorb water and nutrients by itself.
Okay, once your keiki checks all 3 of those boxes, it's graduation day. It's time to perform a little bit of plant surgery. And just like any surgery, preparation and a sterile environment are everything.
And I'm not kidding when I say surgery. Before you even think about making a cut, you have to sterilize your tools. Orchids are really susceptible to nasty viruses and fungi that can spread on a dirty blade. Seriously, this step is absolutely non-negotiable. It's for the health of both the parent and the baby.
So how do you do it right? Well, the best, most reliable method is an open flame from a torch or even your gas stove. Just heat the blade until it's good and hot. A 10% bleach solution also works really well, but you have to make sure you rinse the tool off completely afterward. Rubbing alcohol is okay for bacteria, but it's not as great against some of those tougher viruses.
All right, sterilized tool in hand, here's exactly what to do. You're not going to cut the keiki itself. You're going to cut the main flower spike it's attached to. Make one cut an inch or 2 above the keiki and another one an inch or 2 below it. This leaves a little piece of the spike attached, which is super helpful for anchoring it in the new pot. Then, for a pro move, dab a little ground cinnamon on the fresh cuts. It's a natural fungicide and helps everything dry out nicely.
The surgery is a success. Now it's time to give this little clone its very first home. What you plant it in really matters. Sphagnum moss is awesome because it holds moisture really well, which is perfect for those fragile new roots. On the other hand, fir bark gives you great airflow and sort of mimics how orchids grow on trees in the wild. A lot of expert growers actually use a custom mix of both to get the best of both worlds. That's walk-through potting it up. You'll want a small, clear pot. That way you can keep an eye on how the roots are doing. After you pre-moisten your mix, use that little piece of spike you left on to help anchor the keiki in the pot. Then just gently fill in the medium around the roots. Don't pack it in too tight, and this part is absolutely crucial. Make sure the crown, the part where the leaves come out, is sitting at or above the surface of the medium. If you bury it, it will rot.
Okay, your keiki is potted, but it's still in a very fragile state. Think of it as being in recovery from the transplant shock. It needs high humidity to reduce stress and lower, more indirect light than its parent. You want to keep the medium moist, but never, ever soggy. And please, hold off on the fertilizer. Wait until you see clear signs of new growth, like a brand new leaf or a growing root tip, before you even think about feeding it.
When you do finally start fertilizing, just remember this little mantra: fertilize weekly, weekly. It just means you use a very diluted fertilizer, like a quarter or a half strength, but you apply it more often. This gives the plant a steady, gentle supply of nutrients without the risk of burning those sensitive new roots.
And now we wait. Patience is everything at this stage. For the first year, maybe 2, that keiki is going to pour all its energy into growing leaves and roots, just building a strong foundation. But with good care, somewhere in its 2nd or 3rd year, it'll finally be mature enough to produce its very first flower spike. And when that first bloom opens, it will be an exact replica of the parent plant's flowers. You've done it. You've successfully preserved its unique genetic code. It is a direct continuation of the plant you fell in love with in the first place. And let me tell you, that's an incredibly rewarding feeling.
So this little one is just an amazing testament to the incredible survival strategies of plants. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing secrets are hiding right there in the pots on your own windowsill?